What up, YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome or welcome back to the channel. Thank y'all so much for tuning in once again. So I am back with another quick reaction video for you guys. Now this video comes from the No Fugazi podcast. Shout out to Cooley. This video was interesting because this particular woman in this video, she got kicked off the podcast, y'all. And she got kicked off because she did not like what he was saying. And I find this interesting when you come across women who don't like your point of view or perspective, especially when it's coming from a man. They tend to try to throw insults or get mad because they're not used to hearing a perspective from a male's point of view. And I think that's part of what's happening here. But I'm gonna stop talking. We're gonna get into the video. Shout out to Cooley. Subscribe, like, and share this video, and hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content. But we're gonna get right into the video. Make sure you chime in the comments below. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the video. Here we go.
I'm saying that the man that is raising that child should be able to discipline that child, right? And that goes without saying, but does that also apply with the woman? Say if the woman, you're the single father, and a woman that you're dating is watching your children, all the same scenario, all the same examples that you use, just switching the parentage, right?
Yeah.
She's watching your child and she pops your child, or she smacked your daughter, or whatever the case is, popped her, whatever, and then you came home. Is she allowed to discipline your child the same way?
Well, if you're asking me, so this is my subjective stance. You're not asking my general. Me anecdotally, well, no, the woman's job is not to discipline. That's not her place. That's not her role in the relationship. One, when women discipline, they discipline normally out of emotions. So now you're being emotional. You're having an emotional reaction hitting my child. So now what you're doing is you're inadvertently putting these type of behaviors in my child. So he's saying you act out emotionally to smack him. He's going to start acting out emotionally as well. Because women can't really, when men whoop children, we don't do like, out of frustration. Like, little nigga, I told
disagree.
you. Pop, shut up. From a general standpoint, I know you probably had some experience that you seen that your daddy was hitting you because that was an emotional man. I don't know your situation, but I'm sure you probably seen some emotional men act like women to discipline kids. But generally speaking, men aren't as emotional as women.
Now, I do agree that women are more emotional than men. And I think women can discipline from an emotional standpoint. I do agree with that. And y'all chime in, let me know your thoughts. I think this is why it's so difficult when dealing with women who have kids already. It's because now this is something that you put yourself in a position to where now you have to consider all of these things. You have to worry about if you are able to discipline that child and worry about how she disciplines the child. And y'all have to be on the same page with that. And I think now men are just kind of getting to a point to where they're like, nah, if I don't have to deal with women with kids, and then they're not going to choose that, because it's a lot that you have to consider when you're dealing with the person who has kids. And for women, a lot of men don't want to deal with women with kids because of, one of the reasons is because of this exact thing that they're talking about. And then men who have kids and have custody of their kids, you have to be concerned about the woman that you're bringing around your children as well. You just have to be very cautious. So I think this is part of the reason why a lot of men don't want to date women with kids, because all of this you have to consider. Let's continue.
When they're disciplining a child, it's normally not out of an emotional reaction response. Also, I'll say this, right? Normally, the reason why it's not out of an emotional reaction when a man is disciplining a child, because men are very observant. We observe everything. So when Kenny is doing something, hey, stop that. I told you, you do it again, you're going to get some consequences. Hey, third time, I'm popping you. We already letting the kid know, stop doing it. You do it again, there's going to be some consequences for your actions. Women, y'all be doing so much. Oh, I'm finally on the couch. I had a long day. The child is there doing stuff. You're kind of like on your phone. You're ignoring it. Then it builds up and you get emotional. I told you to stop doing it. And then you whoop your kid and it's emotional. And then this kid is seeing his mother act all emotional and stupid. Then this man becomes an emotional man. And guess what? He's an emotional man with his future woman. So this is why single mothers breeds a lot of emotional, triggered little boys in society.
And this is why two parents are necessary. This is why a stable two-parent household is necessary because being a mother myself, yes, I discipline my children. So there's a level of discipline that comes from the mother and the father. There are certain things and certain ways that we discipline our kids, but it's different. It's a joint effort, both with the mother and the father. A lot of times when the majority of my kids were smaller, it's like, hey, you do something wrong, I'm going to address that and let you know that's not okay, or maybe if you're punished or whatever, but then you still got to answer to your father. So the father, and they usually don't like that because it's like you can get away with some things with the mothers, but you're not going to get away with that when it comes to the fathers, because that stern, he's going to come in and say something. When he says it, he means what he said, and that's it. You just going to do it. So this is why I say fathers are important, because usually children aren't stupid. They know that they can get away with certain things with the mothers, but they know they can't get away with the father. So you have to have that balance there. Let's continue.
This is normally what happens.
I disagree, and I don't think that we can say generally men are observant, generally men are patient, because if that was the case, we wouldn't be in half of the wars that we're in. We wouldn't have half of the domestic violence cases that we're in. And I think that a common misconception is that men think that they're more logical and less emotional, but if that were the case, they would make a lot better decisions, which statistically proven they do not. And with that being said, a lot of men think that that they confuse anger as not being an emotion. No, you guys can be equally as emotional as women. Now, it's definitely stereotypical and incorrect to say that a woman disciplines a child out of emotion, because it's all based down to that male or woman's emotional regulation, whether it's the mother or the father. They can discipline that child.
We'll just give the stats. So everything that you just said is a lie based off statistics. Generally, no, everything you said is a lie, and I'm going to give you the facts, and he can even pull it up and you can read it here yourself.
Everything that I said was a fact. Men are the main
what? What is men?
The main person that's inflicting that in the domestic violence cases.
So look at this.
Right? And that's
so
emotion.
You're saying all of these points, and I'm going to refute them all. Listen to this.
Okay.
So one, we already know that single father households, listen here, Claire, single father households do just as good as two parent households, but single mother households do worse than single father households and worse than two parent households. Oh, wow. And when we're speaking about worse, we're speaking about the disciplinarian within that household, meaning that which household breeds degeneracy? Single mother households, listen clear. Statistics shows that single mother households breeds juvenile delinquents. Most of the women that's on a stripper pole and on OnlyFans, they come from single mother homes. Most of these emotional men in prison come from single mother homes. I'm still debunking everything you said. I'm going to get to that too. So, you know what? We have a chart that we're going to bring up. I'm going to send it to you. Because she's speaking about domestic violence. So we're going to debunk what you just said right now about domestic violence.
I also feel like there's a huge difference between discipline and abuse.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
Like, different perspective. I have boys, they play sports. They have coaches, male coaches. If they're on the football field and their coach gives them a specific instruction and they go over this 4 or 5 times and they kind of run over the coach, and the coach is like, come on, I told you to do this the right way. And they
have the helmet.
I don't consider that abuse. Like, it's like, hey, snap out of it. Pay attention, listen, trying to redirect. I don't always think that just because, I'm not going to look at my son's football coach and say, oh, he kind of smacked him upside the helmet because he's goofing off or being a distraction or just blatantly not following directions. I don't consider that abuse. So if it's okay for the football coach to kind of pop the son,
and you don't do nothing for him.
I just feel like
and now don't get me wrong, I think
the face is kind of really harsh, and I think that it's not going to be tolerated in my household.
And there we go. And that's how most women think. This is why when you ask a woman if she's in a relationship with a guy, can that man discipline the child? Most women don't like that. They feel some kind of way. You can't discipline the child because you're not the father. But then wonder why men don't want to deal with single mothers. And I don't think it's because men just want to be able to beat your kid. But no, that you got to have some authority there. You have to be the man of the house. You want a protector and a provider, then people have to be able to listen. And that includes the kids as well. Let's continue.
And
And I'm not going to
100%
continue
agreeing,
talking about
yeah.
this moving forward. I'm just telling you, like, both of y'all and him, because that's the only, well, you two, like, that's not happening in my household. That could happen in your household. Your new boyfriend could smack the shit out of your son or your daughter or your son.
The thing is that when he say smack the shit, I'm not looking at the actual part where there's the physical. I'm looking at the aspect of the discipline. Like I'm looking at it from a bigger
I just have something up here as a graph. Put the camera on me. So here's a graph right here.
And I'm focusing on the head.
Got it, ladies, pay attention. So here's a graph right here, and you can view it here. It says women often are aggressors when it comes to domestic violence. So if you go ahead and read this graph here,
2001?
Yeah, well, studies are done. What are you talking about? These studies.
What's the source on this?
Very long for studies to get done.
And that's only one
And the
source.
sources is all there. So
is
real
not a
quick, let me
credible
go ahead
source.
and break down the graph. All of you ladies are speaking right now. What's the source and all of this? I'll go ahead and send it to you after the show. But listen, if you go ahead and look at this right here, it shows that women, when it comes to initiating domestic violence, women are the ones that are actually the aggressors when it comes to initiating domestic violence. That's the difference there. And also, when it comes to domestic violence, men really don't report it that much as well. We're less likely to report it because it's a freaking
They like
chick.
it.
It's not to say that like it, and also still be on a camera as well. It's not to say that men like it. It's to say that men just don't report it because it's a woman where our emotions aren't that involved. Your hits don't really affect us like that anyway. It's nothing crazy. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, everything that you just spoke about, be easy on the cameras, everything that you just spoke about was entirely wrong when it comes to domestic violence and who are the actual aggressors when it comes to this.
Based on
You
only
understand?
one. Based on only
It's not a
one.
credible source and it's still inaccurate.
And also bring up others
In a
against us, what you're saying.
2001, women.
No, but I'm saying
Is this a woman bashing? Is this a woman bashing
Statistics
podcast? 'Cause I don't wanna be a part
Search
of
for
it.
the opposite of that as well. You're gonna find the equal
If we're gonna
amount.
bash women and single
And I
mothers,
just wanted to
then
bring up, since we're talking about statistics and you talked about the single father household to the single mother household, let's take account that fathers are 4 times as likely to abandon their children than mothers. And that's statistically proven right here. We're not talking about abuse. My sentence is, start to finish, fathers are 4 times more likely to abandon their children
And do
in
you know
their
why?
house. Because they lack integrity and they lack responsibility.
And
They
do you know,
lack the
I
things
know where
they
that
need.
statistic comes from. And if
But why y'all keep having babies with the irresponsible men who lack responsibility and integrity? Y'all don't. A lot of these women don't have a problem opening their legs to these types of men, and you do it 3 and 4 times over. So is the accountability for the women who are keep going out here making babies with these men? You're not requiring marriage. You're not requiring the man to stick around. You're going out here getting to the D, having fun, and getting pregnant. And then all of a sudden you want the irresponsible man who had no integrity, along with you being irresponsible. You want him to grow up and grow a pair of balls and become a responsible father and commit to you and make a life with you when that was never his intention, nor was it yours. We got to stop pointing to, because it's really getting old, keep pointing to the man when these women are making poor choices and making poor decisions and they're not even being accountable for their own choices. Your body, your choice. Why are these women choosing to have babies with men that you know were never ready to be fathers or husbands? And so to say the men are walking away, no, they're not taking responsibility for a woman they just met and had sex with and she got pregnant because they don't want a relationship with you nor a kid. But I don't think you wanted it either. And so you got to acknowledge both sides is all I'm saying. You can't keep pointing it at the men because that's getting old. Men don't even want to deal with a lot of these women anyway. They don't want to deal with y'all. Y'all are dealing with a small percentage of men who don't want to be fathers and don't want to be husbands. But those are all the men y'all keep running to and giving babies to. So it seems to me that this is a woman issue because you as women need to stop giving your bodies to men that you deem irresponsible. And if the man doesn't want to commit to you and marry you, then you shouldn't be having a baby with him. Let's continue.
the reason why it shows that fathers are 4 times more likely to abandon, what they call abandon, right? Because most women, well, one, let's just give the stats. 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women. So these are women that are leaving these men. These are women that they want to become a single mother. So these are women initiating and breaking up the relationship. And then most of the time, these women, what? They would go for full custody. They put the man on child support. And the man is like, what? I can't see my child barely, and I gotta pay this money, forget it. I'm not even gonna be around.
And on top of that, there's a lot of paternity fraud where these women are having, a lot of these children aren't even for these men. So they have a lot of these guys on child support because they were ratchet and sleeping with everybody and getting pregnant, and then putting the blame, making him think he's the father, and then come to find out he's been paying child support for a child that isn't even his. So that's an issue as well. Now, whose fault is that? And we talk about fault and always go to the men, but there's never, and when I say never any accountability on the woman's side. And that's what needs to change, because you played a part of this as well. If you weren't taken advantage of, then you played a part in it. And so we got to start addressing both sides, because this is not looking good for women. It's not looking good that women are acting like they're the best thing since sliced bread, but also not taking any accountability, blaming the men, and now men don't want to deal with y'all. So if anything has to change, it's going to have to be women making the changes. But let's continue.
So those stats show that as well. That's included in that. So that's not a genuine stat when we're speaking about abandonment. Abandoned, people think like the man is actually just leaving the woman, leaving him.
I disagree.
Leaving him. This is a lie. Men aren't leaving their kids. It's the woman that's leaving the man and then trying to get resources from the man. So what you're saying is just nonsense.
They weren't accurate either, because men are less likely. Men are less likely to report abuse than women are, right? Because as we can see, there are a lot more, and this may be fair or not fair. I'm not in charge of these programs, but there are a lot more programs that are for protecting women and children from abuse than there are protecting men from abuse, right?
You didn't even debunk this stat. So listen, you don't even know what did you even read it there? Stop it. No, because you're speaking nonsense right now. And also, remember to get it on both.
And what I'm saying,
yeah, I got it. But just listen. But the equal respect is when you are making a statement. Listen, I do debates, so this is what I do. Stop speaking, or I will kick you off my show. Listen.
Okay.
Still man the position, don't straw man the position. Listen, still manning it, meaning that I'll let you speak, but still man it. Be genuine. Repeat exactly what I said. When we're speaking about the stats, say exactly what it presented. You're going off on a tangent. The stats show specifically on who initiates. It didn't say anything else. So this is provable. It's a study done. And women are the one that actually are in these statistics. They say, well, yeah, I initiated it. But guess what? The man in court, he's still found guilty because women are favored in the courts. So even when the woman would initiate the abuse, meaning hit the man first, that man go ahead and retaliates and hits her back, she calls the police. He goes to jail. This stat then goes on domestic violence 1, but she doesn't experience any negative consequences for putting her hands on a man. The man experiences the negative consequences, and then we got women like this chick on the podcast talking about all abuse and all of this stuff. These men are 4 times more likely to do all of these things, to abandon a child, to hit the woman. This is just false. You're lying on this podcast. You're lying.
I feel like podcast. I'm sorry. Are you listening to understand, or are you listening just to respond?
No, to understand.
Because a lot of times when somebody's speaking, you have a habit, which you've shown multiple times, to cut that person off. But then when you're speaking, but it's due respect, right? Because at the end of the day, you set the tone, and when you set the tone of cutting a person off when they're speaking, but you want them to respect when you're speaking, that's not.
No, I didn't say that. I said that you were. I said that. What'd you say? Yeah, and once again, Ease is speaking right now in the back, and Ease told you specifically the rules of the podcast. Cooley would have to cut you off at certain times, and the reason why I'm cutting you off is because what you did was you straw man my position, meaning that you didn't repeat my position back accurately. You went off on a tangent and moved the goalposts to something else. I was speaking about women being the aggressors when it comes to initiating. How can abuse even start in a relationship if someone doesn't initiate it? So women are the cause of getting their butt whooped. That's what I'm saying. Generally speaking, women are the cause. You hit the man first, the man retaliates. Now, I'm not saying that it's good. I think that these niggas should get locked up. I don't condone men abusing women, so don't look at Cooley
like... You sound
like...
passionate, like,
No,
you want to bash women this whole time.
No,
I think the women should be locked up for initiating the abuse. If you're gonna put your hands on somebody and you get hands put back on you, either y'all gonna lock them both up or she needs to go, because you need to be, that's abuse. Just because he's a man and he's stronger don't mean that your hits don't hurt. The same way a woman could pick up something and bust you in your head and knock you out, then what? She should be held accountable. If you don't want to go to jail, you don't want to deal with the consequences of your actions, keep your goddamn hands to yourself. That's all. And if you have a hard time doing that, you need to isolate yourself. If you don't want to be in a position where a man might respond or defend himself, then you need to work on not putting your hands on that person. You should not be initiating anything if you don't want a response back. That's all I'm saying. Let's continue.
You got 6 women in front of you. Listen, you got 6 women in front of you, okay? Majority of us are single mothers. So sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say things. You understand? I understand that this is your podcast. You want to get your point across for the viewers. We want to go viral for the reels and everything. But we single mothers. You understand?
Wait,
let's be respectful.
I feel like you're not generalizing.
You're in a relationship.
Yeah, but I'm saying majority of us are. And
I feel like you're not generalizing.
Yeah, just be kind. Be kind
on a behalf of a man.
Wait, time out.
How you gonna tell somebody how to be on their own podcast? This is something that a lot of women tend to do. Look, if you're there, answer the questions, whatever. And if you don't want to be there, you don't have to be there. How you gonna tell somebody else how to run their stuff? That's crazy to me. But a lot of women are used to doing that, telling men how to be and what to say and how to act, all that, telling grown men that. That's insanity right there, if you ask me. Let's continue.
Ladies, I'm not speaking about you. This conversation that we're currently having right here is not even personalized.
No,
it's generalized, and we're speaking about stats. The thing is, you ladies are emotional.
No.
This is why you should be
I think your stats, it's on a very small spectrum.
Hold on, speaking at the same time.
I'm sorry.
I think that an emotional response is that if you try to cut me off, I'm going to kick you off my show. That's an emotional response.
No, you know what that is? That's called...
That's you saying that, this is my platform, so I have the control.
You know what that is?
I have the control.
That's called authority. You don't know how to respect men. You don't know how to... That's not abusing authority.
It is
You don't. You got the rules before the show. You got the rules before the show, and you still speaking while I'm speaking and cutting me off. You don't respect male's authority. This is what that shows.
When they said...
You the rules and you still talking, and you can't get it. You don't understand.
I respect
and
when
you
a man
still don't
sets
understand.
good leadership, and when he says yes leadership and expects.
Oh, so that's good leadership. I'll show you good leadership. Get off my show. You out of here. Walk her out. You done. Get up out of here.
I will hold you.
I'll show you leadership.
It's your show.
I'll show you leadership.
And
a real nigga will kick you off his show. Get up out of here.
I don't give.
Get up out of here.
I'm gonna hold you accountable whether you ask me to leave the show or not. It's the point.
Go ahead.
That you're
Hold me accountable for what?
Your charger.
You're a little ass boy and you don't like to
Listen, get your stuff and get up out of here.
Held accountable.
Ain't no accountable. I'm holding you accountable for being insubordinate.
No, you don't have authority when you don't know how to lead.
This is pure authority. I see you leaving the show, right?
To understand.
I see you leaving, right?
You see I'm leaving, right?
Yeah, you're leaving. This is authority.
Guess what? You also
see your way
out.
See your way out. Peace. Bye-bye. Drive safely.
Listen, once again, it goes to shaming and insults and all of that, saying he a little boy and this and that. He don't have this. That's typically what women do. It doesn't even have to go that far. If you don't agree with something, you could leave. You could just get up and leave. There's nobody that's holding you back. But it shouldn't go to shaming, because I don't see anything that he said to her. I didn't see him disrespect her or call out her name or any of that. So listen, I'll leave it here. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Shout out to Cooley. Make sure you guys go over and watch the full video on his channel, you guys. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.